Day 2 of our chat.
Yes.
I want to hear about Kamada, but before we do, there's a little announcement you want to make?
Oh, yes, sure. I started myself 2014, actually, with adding Japanese football to TransferMarkt database. Kind of Wikipedia-ish nature of the site. Within Japan, we are now down to the 6th tier of regional league football, like on all regional league football. Cool. Yeah, so it's the same. Like you can like compare Messi to whatever player from, I don't know, Kansai League or whatever. So it's really cool. But it takes its toll. It's quite a lot of work. So if you would like really to help us out here, to add Japanese football to TransferMarkt's database, to archive Japanese football there, I would like to hear from you, either in English or try to contact TransferMarkt Japan News on Twitter, even in Japanese. The guy speaks Japanese there. So we would really appreciate your help, and we'll do anything to set you up to assist us and keep Japanese football present on TransferMarkt's huge database. So appreciate any invoice there.
We'll contact you guys through Twitter.
Yes, to Twitter. It would be great after all these years to have a little help from outside, because we're mostly two German guys doing that.
Yeah, okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the shout out.
No worries. Let's get into it then. Kamada.
Yes, Daichi Kamada, Mr. Europa League, as he has been called recently, and mostly because of the fact that he hasn't been as present in the Bundesliga as he has been with the Europa League performance there. Right. So it's kind of like a nod to this fact, but also kind of like a smirkish one. Daichi Kamada, I mean, highest market value he had before was 25 million euros. He now stands at 22. Because the kind of mediocre season he had with the Bundesliga. Right. But now, of course, with the Europa League, this kind of changes the situation. Kamada, last season he had 5 goals and 14 assists in the Bundesliga. This is not this much anymore. There was actually some rumors about him that he wanted to next step, move to a bigger club after his kind of breakout season with Frankfurt. Yet the season opening wasn't exciting. He actually improved his kind of physical strength a little. He improved his defensive abilities, something that he has been criticized for in the past, that he kind of seems like fading out as soon as like the attack is over and doesn't work in the defense as much as he should at the situations. At the end of 2021, he gave an interview to Hessenschau, which is a public news site. He explained that he noticed that fans are critical about him. Mostly relies on what teammates say, what the manager is saying to him. But when he moved back to Japan for the off-season, or notified by his family about the critical pieces about him, he said he felt good being in Frankfurt, but people outside of the club thought critical about him. It's kind of really uncomfortable about the situation.
Interesting.
You saw this ambivalence. On the one hand, he said, okay, it was great to stay in Frankfurt, but so this negative feelings in some parts of the fan society, kind of the
Frankfurt fans?
Frankfurt fans, because you have to imagine Eintracht Frankfurt has a pretty active fan scene, right?
Wow.
So there's a lot of,
as you can see on the European League
right?
final, yeah.
Absolutely, and I mean, there's a lot of discussions on anything, kind of. So if you think about discussing the situation with Kamada, you're not only discussing him being an integral part to the team. You could argue, okay, he's now not that good that he's been last year. Should we try to sell him ASAP to get as much money out of it as possible, right? We are seeing this surrounding of this critical empathy from the fans, not because they don't see how good Kamada can be for the club, but also that he has now 1 year left in his contract. Right. Despite some criticism, they still would think, okay, now he won the Europa League. He's playing Champions League next season. We should try to get him to sign another contract.
It's true.
Right? It's a lot of millions that are in that, right? Just in this decision. Big disclaimer, I'm not like a big football tactician or anything, but what I like about Kamada, he has a really good eye on the field. I mean, you regularly see him delivering great passes, dribbles to outsmart the opposing defenders. And some passes delivered really on point in an empty space up front. If it's not a goal, right, you can see the impact that can have on the situation following that.
Of course, yeah. Defenders will be wary of that.
Yes, I think it will be interesting really to see if Kamada is about to extend his contract with Frankfurt, because it's kind of a decision he has to make for himself. He probably raise, naturally, but if he really is trying to impress now also in the Champions League, having like no contract after next season will give him all chances to get whatever contract he likes, right?
That's true.
There will be quite a lot of teams probably like thinking about signing him. So
it's true. As a free agent, it becomes a lot more attractive.
Remember, there was kind of rumor recently that Leeds United thought about signing him. So let's see where this is going.
I guess as a romantist, you want to see him on Champions League stage with Frankfurt.
Of course. I mean, like with Hasebe, like of course one last
Yeah,
season.
exactly.
Because if there's no way that Kamada will extend his contract, Frankfurt to a certain degree has to try to sell him for as much as possible.
They have to, yeah.
We will see if Mr. Europa League will become Mr. Champions League next season.
So, why do you think there is a decline in Bundesliga, but in Europa League he's playing well?
Good question. The Bundesliga, you have the opponents that regularly play you and your team, so maybe kind of are aware of what Kamada can do and how maybe to compensate. And then in the Europa League, you have like those minor teams like Barcelona who get into a kind of a difficult situation playing them. They are not used to him, apart from maybe video studies. You don't know.
Yeah, beating Barcelona, it's like once in a lifetime, huh?
They were really amazing. I even had to like convince my girlfriend that we can watch those games because normally she's not that much into football. But I was able to see both matches, and it was really a good football fest, and really also showed how frenetic those supporters are, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's still 25, so still room to grow.
I think he's still like one of the most expensive Japanese footballers in Bundesliga history, at least. Kagawa back then had also kind of this market value. If he moves to England at some point and show off what he's able to do, he will probably like raise a lot higher than that. In the final, not so good, but like the matches before, he was really amazing. It's kind of like laughing and whining, depending on if he's like doing very good or maybe not so good.
Well, maybe it's time to move on if he's been there for 5 years.
Yeah, and he had a difficult stand in the beginning, right? Because they loaned him to Japanese safe haven in Europe, Sandtriden, where they kind of built him up, and he was able to show what he is capable to do. And only after that, they were willing to give him a chance. And so maybe it's time to move on. But as you said, I would also like to see Hasebe and Kamada next year in the Champions League. That would be very cool.
Mitoma, your favorite player?
Mitoma, yes, almost won the championship. They have in Belgium, they have this really strange playoff system. So the regular season they won as the Royal Union Saint-Gauloise. I hope I didn't pronounce it totally wrong, but they were close to winning the championship, but in the playoffs they didn't. And Mitoma will go back to Brighton. I'm not sure if he will be eligible to play.
Right.
Still only like, I think 3 matches so
far. Is that all?
He's 25. He wasn't like really on the radar and the university player that much. So
my impression was he was played more.
Yeah, maybe because he's such a good presence. But 3 games, 2 goals. He scored twice. Maybe that's why.
Brighton, I think, is a very good team. Good coach, good foundation. They have tendency to nurture players. So hopefully, he can get the visa to play. And just wanted to say, good choice that you made last time we had a chat.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of the most obvious one. I mean, Union, despite being promoted last season to the first division, they almost won the title. So
Crazy,
I think sometimes money can get you a lot, I think, right?
Yeah. My sister lives in Belgium. She doesn't watch any football, but she's even hearing these Japanese players doing well there.
Yeah.
Any other players from J-League that you're putting your eyes on these days?
Yeah, at the moment I don't get to watch a lot of J-League because we have a lot to do with the house and so on. But Ayase Ueda, top scorer of the J-League with the Kashima Antlers. He is also quite regularly with the Japanese national team. Already has 8 caps with the national team. He was also with the kind of Copa Americana, I think, was it? Disaster.
Like 2 years ago.
Yes.
I know what that was.
But now he's with Antlers, and him and Yuma Suzuki, who returned from Sandtriden back to Antlers. They are like mixing up things in the J-League at the moment. So Ayase Ueda, only 23 years old. It's kind of an interesting player, and what I personally look a lot forward to this season, Mitsuta from Sanfrecce Hiroshima. So my favorite team. So he's like really making an impact on the team already, despite just having joined this season. But that's just a personal favorite of mine. So apart from Ueda, maybe a player that's imminent to move to Europe at the moment. But we will see. I think the good examples with Stuttgart, with Ito, gives a little more awareness to clubs, right? To just like at least try something. I mean, loan fee was 100,000 euro.
It's literally free.
It's literally free, yeah.
And Japanese players don't really make that much trouble.
Not at all. I mean, they maybe sometimes don't integrate too good into the teams. They're a little more shy maybe than others, but you can see like cheap transfers to make. And if only like one of them like really has a breakout, that's probably worth most of it, right?
Yeah, maybe perhaps you can give the Bundesliga teams a few notes here and there.
Still waiting for the first manager to contact me.
Yeah. Man, you gotta get the contents out, man.
Yeah, I know the time is an issue.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, mate.
Hey, it was a pleasure talking to you. Jamata. See you.
Thanks a lot, brother.
Take care, man.